Picture this, a museum, fortress-like, hailed as one of the most secure in the world. It's packed with priceless treasures, guarded by motion sensors, pressure plates, night vision cameras, and a team of highly trained security personnel. It sounds like something straight out of a Hollywood blockbuster, right? Placed so secure, even the most daring thief would think twice. But what if I told you that this very fortress was breached and its treasures vanished, not in a matter of hours, but in just 8 minutes? This isn't a movie script. This is the incredible true story of the Green Vault heist in Dresden, Germany. On November 25, 2019, the world woke up to shocking news. The Dresden Green Vault, a historic museum housing one of Europe's greatest collections of treasures, had been robbed. The thieves made off with an astonishing collection of 18th century jewelry, diamonds, and precious gems. The estimated value to be over 1 billion euros. But the real loss, the cultural and historical loss, was simply immeasurable. So, how did they do it? How did a handful of individuals bypass a multi-million-dollar security system and disappear with a king's ransom in less time than it takes to make a cup of coffee? The answer is a fascinating and frankly terrifying combination of old-school brute force and cunning, meticulous planning. The story begins in the dead of night. The thieves' first move wasn't to storm the gates, but to target something much more vulnerable, a nearby electrical distribution box. They set a fire, plunging the entire street, including the museum, into darkness. This single act was brilliant in its simplicity. It knocked out the streetlights and, crucially, disabled the external alarm system. The museum's internal security cameras kept rolling thanks to a backup power supply. The initial alert that should have gone out was silenced. With the area cloaked in darkness, the thieves approached a specific window on the ground floor. Now, these weren't just any windows. They were protected by thick iron bars. But the thieves had done their homework. Sometime before the heist, they had managed to cut through one of the bars and then carefully glue it back into place to avoid detection during routine checks. It was a classic, patient move. On the night of the heist, they simply broke their own handiwork, removed a section of the grille, and smashed the window behind it. Once inside, the clock was ticking. They knew exactly where they were going: the jewel room. This room contained the crown jewels of the Saxon monarchs, priceless artifacts adorned with thousands of diamonds, rubies, and emeralds. Security footage, which was later released, shows two figures, small and agile, scurrying into the room. They were armed with axes. Here's where the brute force comes in. They didn't bother with delicate lockpicking. They took their axes and began smashing the supposedly unbreakable display cases. The glass, specially designed to be shatterproof, eventually gave way under the relentless, frenzied attack. The thieves frantically grabbed everything they could, stuffing priceless diamond necklaces, brooches, and jewel-encrusted swords into their bags. They knew what pieces were the most valuable and targeted them specifically. They grabbed 21 artifacts containing more than 4,300 individual diamonds. One of the most famous stolen items was the Dresden White Diamond, a magnificent 49-carat stone that was the centerpiece of a shoulder knot. It was a devastating loss. In total, they were inside the museum for just a few minutes. The alarm was eventually triggered, but by the time the first police car arrived, just 5 minutes later, the thieves were gone. They fled the scene in an Audi A6. To cover their tracks, they drove the getaway car to a nearby underground garage and set it on fire, destroying any potential DNA evidence. Then, they switched to a second, inconspicuous vehicle and vanished into the night. The aftermath was chaos. The police launched one of the largest investigations in German history. A special task force, named Epaulette, after one of the stolen items, was formed. A reward of €500,000 was offered for any information leading to the recovery of the jewels or the capture of the criminals. For months, the trail went cold. The art world mourned, fearing the unique historic pieces would be broken up and the individual gems sold on the black market lost forever. The police were under immense pressure. How could this have happened? Questions were raised about the museum's security protocols. How could a fire at a junction box completely neutralize the primary alarm? Why weren't there more guards on active patrol inside? The breakthrough came a year later, November 2020. In a series of dramatic raids across Berlin, hundreds of police officers arrested several suspects. They were members of the Remo clan, a notorious organized crime family known for audacious crimes, including the 2017 theft of a giant gold coin, also from a Berlin museum. The investigation revealed the meticulous planning. The suspects had visited the museum as tourists, scouting the layout. They studied the security systems, identified the weak points, and planned their attack down to the second. The trial began, and the details that emerged were even more shocking. It became a story of insider knowledge, family networks, and a complete disregard for cultural heritage. But even with the arrests, the most important question remained: where were the jewels? Then, another incredible twist. In December 2022, as part of a plea deal, a significant portion of the stolen treasures was recovered. 31 of the missing items, some of them damaged, were returned. It was a moment of immense relief, though some of the most famous pieces, including the Dresden white diamond, were still missing. The Green Vault heist serves as a chilling reminder that no place is ever truly impenetrable. It shows that human ingenuity, when turned to crime, can overcome even the most advanced technology. It was a crime that blended 21st century planning with 19th century methods. A simple fire, a pre-cut bar, and a couple of axes were enough to defeat a fortress and steal $1 billion treasure. The story is a testament to the audacity of the thieves, the tireless work of the investigators, and the enduring value we place on our shared history. While some pieces may be lost forever, the recovery of so many of the stolen items is a victory for culture over crime. It proves that even in the face of such a devastating loss, there is always hope. Thank you so much for watching. This story is just mind-blowing, isn't it? What do you think is the most shocking part of this heist? Let me know down in the comments. And if you enjoy deep dives into incredible true stories like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next video. We'll see you in the next one.